against us, or whether we encourage them to stay and create new jobs and new businesses right here in the United States. These are all the questions that voters now are going to have to ask themselves and are going to have to answer in November. These are the issues that are going to be debated by candidates across the country, both congressional candidates as well as the presidential candidates. And in November, Americans are going to have to make a decision about what we care about and who we are. I promise you this, though. Sooner or later, immigration reform will get done. Congress is not going to be able to ignore America forever. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I can say that with confidence because we've seen our history. We get these spasms of politics around immigration and fear-mongering. And then our traditions and our history and our better impulses kick in. That's how we all ended up here. Because I guarantee you at some point, every one of us has somebody in our background who people didn't want coming here. And yet here we are. And that's what's going to happen this time. The question is, do we do it in a smart, rational, sensible way, or we just keep on kicking the can down the road? I believe that this country deserves an immigration policy that reflects the goodness of the American people, and I think we're going to get that. Hopefully we're going to get that in November. All right? I'll take two questions. Two questions. Go ahead.
Realistically, what do you see as the risk of deportation for these more than 4 million people? And you say we can't deport 11 million, this is 4 million, and there's a chunk of time here.
Well, let me just be very clear. What was unaffected by today's ruling or lack of a ruling is the enforcement priorities that we put in place. And our enforcement priorities that have been laid out by Secretary Jay Johnson at the Department of Homeland Security are pretty clear. We prioritize criminals. We prioritize gang bangers. We prioritize folks who have just come in. What we don't do is to prioritize people who've been here a long time, who are otherwise law-abiding, who have roots and connections in their communities. And so those enforcement priorities will continue. The work that we've done with the DREAM Act kids, those policies remain in place. So what this has prevented us from doing is expanding the scope of what we've done with the DREAM Act kids. Keep in mind, though, that even that was just a temporary measure. All it was doing was basically saying to these kids, you can have confidence that you are not going to be deported, but it does not resolve your ultimate status. That is going to require congressional action. So, although I'm disappointed by the lack of a decision today by the Supreme Court, a deadlock, this does not substantially change the status quo. And it doesn't negate what has always been the case, which is if we're really going to solve this problem effectively, we've got to have Congress pass a law. I have pushed to the limits of my executive authority. We now have to have Congress act. And hopefully we're going to have a vigorous debate during this election. This is how democracy is supposed to work. And there will be a determination as to which direction we go in. As I said, over the long term, I'm very confident about the direction this country is going because we've seen this in the past. If we hadn't seen it in the past, America would look very different than it looks today. But whether we're going to get this done now, soon, so that this does not continue to be this divisive force in our politics, and we can get down to the business of all pulling together to create jobs and educate our kids and protect ourselves from external threats and do the things that we need to do to ensure a better future for the next generation. That's going to be determined in part by how voters turn out and who they vote for in November. All right, one more question. Go ahead.
Two practical going forward questions. Number one, are you gonna be able to do anything more at all for immigrants going forward in terms of executive action before the election of the next president? And number two, do you in any way take this, as some Republicans have presented this, as a flat at your use of executive authority, this tie vote? And will this in any way circumscribe how aggressively or forcefully you use executive authority in the remainder of your time at all?
Okay. On the specifics of immigration, I don't anticipate that there are additional executive actions that we can take. We can implement what we've already put in place that is not affected by this decision. But we have to follow now what has been ruled on in the Fifth Circuit because the Supreme Court could not resolve the issue. And we're going to have to abide by that ruling until an election and a confirmation of a ninth justice of the Supreme Court so that they can break this tie. Because we've always said that we are going to do what we can lawfully through executive action, but we can't go beyond that. And we've butted up about as far as we can on this particular topic. It does not have any impact on, from our perspective, on the host of other issues that we're working on, because each one of these issues has a different analysis and is based on different statutes or different interpretations of our authority. So, for example, on climate change, that's based on the Clean Air Act and the EPA and previous Supreme Court rulings, as opposed to ability to legislative discretion that past as every other president has exercised. And the Supreme Court wasn't definitive one way or the other. So the problem is they don't have a ninth justice. So that will continue to be a problem. With respect to the Republicans, I think what it tells you is that if you keep on blocking judges from getting on the bench, then courts can't issue decisions. And what that means is that we're going to have the status quo frozen, and we're not going to be able to make progress on some very important issues. Now, that may have been their strategy from the start, but it's not a sustainable strategy. It's certainly a strategy that will be broken by this election, unless the basic theory is that we will never confirm judges again. Hopefully that's not their theory, because that's not how our democracy is designed. There was a lot of opinion that said we can't come up with a decision. I think that'd be a little bit of a stretch. Yeah. Maybe the next time they can, if we have a full court issuing a full opinion on anything, then we take it seriously. This we have to abide by, but it wasn't any kind of value statement or a decision on the merits of those issues. All right? Thank you guys for playing.
In a paralyzed city reacting to a paralyzed